View of the drawing of James Dean on our phone using the Paintology drawing app. The Paintology drawing app that you can see here is what it appears simple from the surface, but underneath there's a lot that meets the eye. So if you're new to the app, please don't make short judgments or quick snap judgments based around tools, because I know digital drawing revolves around many digital tools, and it's the reason why digital art distinctively looks like digital art. Too much of a perfectionist drawing, but nothing like the natural process of digital art. I mean, traditional art. So and the reason for that is there's too much emphasis on digital tools. What I teach with Paintology are teaching you the fundamental skills of art, the core skills of art that have been learnt by traditional artists using pencil, paper, watercolors, acrylics, you name it, and they have acquired skills of art techniques, the techniques to make a pencil or brush or the colors achieve the tones they want, the shapes they want, and the textures they want, and everything. And that's what real techniques are. And it's very few who actually understand that, especially in the digital medium. So tones are an essential part of core skills of art. Tones and values, you've probably heard of it. You go to any art class, they will teach you tones and values. And this is what tones and values are being taught in this tutorial. So I'm teaching you these methods of drawing. And if you're new to this drawing, please check the link to go to the first part of this tutorial in the description, or you can go to this page, which is, let me see if here, I'll show you. So simply go to the Paintology.com and click on daily step-by-step video tutorials on the button there that appears there, and then you'll come to this page, and then you'll see that I'm working on 31st October, and this is the drawing I'm doing. And the whole idea, James Dean here, the whole idea is that you can draw along with me while you're learning. And these are the streams, part 1 and part 2, you can see here. And there's many more tutorials I've done practically every day up to this point in time, where I do a complete drawing on the phone. So this is my phone, and I'm not using my finger, I'm using my stylus, but you can use your finger and buy a cheap stylus, yeah, to make drawings on your phone. So the phone is a perfectly acceptable device. Don't let others tell you otherwise. You know, if you're into doing digital art, don't think of digital art like majority of people who have advanced in digital art, but they make heavy use of digital tools. I don't. I'm a very advanced user of Photoshop, and you have a tablet attached to it, but I never use it for drawing. Drawing to me is the natural process of drawing, just like what I'm doing here. So you have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to go the long path? The long way is to use tablet hooked to a PC, and that long path will narrow your interest of digital art to animation, computer graphics, not the natural art that I'm showing you here. This caters to people who are traditional artists, don't want the complexity of learning the tools, and want to continue their skills into the digital medium. That's what I've done here, and I prefer this method of drawing and painting on the digital, and I've made many types of drawings. So here's the reference image, and this is my canvas. So we got this far in making our drawing. So what are we going to do? We're going to try and improve this drawing And we have tools at our disposal, which is the zoom. Look at this powerful zoom feature. So take a look at the drawing of the face. We're going to improve the face. Okay, so I can go halfway there and see where the improvements need doing, right? So I can continue to use the block coloring method. Now remember, I had it at 70% and I was at 9% last time. So a rule of thumb, take it down even more, right? 4%, let's say, right? And let's see what we can achieve with the eyes, nose, and lips. So color picker, right? And color picker. I haven't changed anything. I kept the density as it is. I'm capturing tones at the small, tiny, minuscule level, like doing this. You see what I'm doing? Capturing tones at this minuscule level with this small brush, and then be able to create details which I couldn't have done with the bigger brush. And also we were not zoomed in. So now I'm just going to do that. Just using the reference image to do these small details that make up the whole drawing, okay? That's all I'm doing. I know I'm going to learn something if I do something different. And that's the beauty of drawing, is that you're always open to different. So let's have a look at this eye. See that? When I go here, I haven't quite done this bit here. So I'm going to try and do that. There's, and I can flick. Instead of dragging, I can flick between the areas and cover the areas. And then pick the color again. Okay. And then pick colors that should be dark here. Right. So emphasizing that dark. There. Okay. And then let's see what I'm drawing. Look at the eyes. Look at with such small attention to detail, we've created eyes that look so much better than the left eye with such small effort, real effort. Let's do the same thing again. Yeah, because remember this is but darker, and the reason for it's darker is because the light's coming from the left side, and therefore this portion of his face is naturally in the dark side of the. So just going and filling in the same color values that I'm seeing, okay? Believe me that when the traditional artists figure out tones can be explained in this manner, they'll all be jumping for this. So with the smaller brush, I can really get into the details, okay? And then you can see the reference image and your drawing, and then pick the tones that you want. Here's a lighter tone, yeah, and that's it. That's all you need. And here you can see there's a color there. I'm picking that color, so I moved, switching back, so I can use the color picker to pick the colors in that region, and then just color it in. That's it. Let's see what we got. We managed to get quite a bit here, isn't it? And let's do his nose and lips. Okay, so we can also drag all the way here and see the tones. See the tones there? Look at that, it's so dark, so we can say, you know what, this needs to be even more darker. Look at that. It's a real strong shadow that's falling on that side. So it makes the drawing a little easier. Then this color here. Okay, so and then it's got a very light color here. Okay. So you can do it this way. Notice what I've done there, right? You can still stick to the method that I showed you earlier. And then this is part of his nose. And then he's got a little tiny nose area here. Okay. Look at that. It's wonderful how it's coming out, isn't it? And then don't forget his other nose, so you can do that. Or you can bring it to the middle so you can see that you're not going completely off if you want to, okay? So I like the complete extreme end, so I can put down some of these colors and just use my eye to draw, okay? There's a white area here, can you see that? Lovely. And then let's draw his lips. Unmistakable, I think, his lips. That's what defines a lot of the characters, just like we did Matthew Perry yesterday's unmistakable grin that he had. That's the light white spot there, and then a darker here. So now we're doing shapes. We're doing now learning about drawing the actual shape of the sky and creating these shapes, okay? Then this one I need to align the lips, so I'm going to move it back, use the color picker to refine, and then use the color picker again for that part of this mouth, okay? Then use, we've got the top of that mouth, but we haven't got this, so we can just go over that, define his lips there. And then here you can see get that same color and just go around here, okay? And so on. Let's see what it looks like. That's beginning to look like his lower lip, so I can go all the way here and see it's a lot darker. You can see here it's a lot darker, so I'm going to add this dark here. So this is a tonal painting. This is what a lot of artists are good at because they understand these tones. Look at that, see that? There. And then I can see that there. We need to capture some of that here. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. Look at that, so much better, isn't it? His mouth is now coming, and because you can see his mouth, right? We can zoom in and say his mouth is not quite done, right? See here, here, some little bit of tone, and then darker tone here, and then do some lips work like this, and then here's, this goes all the way here actually, look at that, all the way here. So that's how you capture the shape of the face, you know, the lips. Let's see if we've got that right. I think we got a better shape of his lips. It's looking good. Now, because we're on his face, so let's actually make his face as good as possible. I'll get a 3-4% brush. Okay. Look at that. So now you can see that you've got these areas that you want to just capture. So any areas where you can see a white blemish, white mark, that's not on the face, just use your brush to smooth it out. And then use this to smooth it out. You can see his face is beginning to look like his. And then here you can see his, I'm trying to get his face. We've got the good size brush, so stick to that. And then here you can see that got this part of his face comes up to there, and then we can capture some of his tones at the same time. And then you can see here he's got a dark tone underneath the collar, just underneath his chin, and just keep correcting it, right? See your image, see the actual reference image, and just pick those tones. Just keep continuing the brush stroke. Don't worry about getting it perfect, because remember, the artist builds it up slowly through what is called a drawing process, something which I've been trying to explain in the drawing, but most people are not aware of it. Drawing relies on a drawing process, and that's what I've tried to show. Drawing process is the ability to take your drawing to a particular level and then improving it. That's all we're doing. So let's go over here and see he's got a very strong forehead there, and then a very light, which shows the part of his forehead. That's all we're doing. We're not doing that. It seems to have come up here a little bit. Then there's a black here. We've got an ability to pick. So I'm just refining the real tones using my own eye. Right. And then just building up to see how wonderful his face is coming. So obviously got the texture of the brush that I'm using, but still the whole idea is to provide some kind of an artistic look. So it's still an artistic drawing there. And then here you can see it's very light here. So it's not like it's... Right, and we can use the reference image, right? Go up to the midpoint and get that right, and get this black color that consists of the edge of his collar, right? Let's see where it ends. It ends there, right? And pick the white color and take that out. Okay, that's all we have to do. So you can see how his face is now beginning to look although he's got smudges, like he's come up with some kind of a disease, isn't it? But otherwise, it's not bad, is it? So we can carry on. His face is the most important thing, obviously, in this drawing. And so we're going to carry on. Just give me a few minutes. Let's have a couple of minutes break, yeah? And we'll come back to this, okay? Hello again, and welcome back. And hope you had a quick break. And now we'll continue to resume on this drawing of James Dean. As you can see here, got pretty much a good shape coming up from the face as we continue to build up this drawing. Very similar to traditional, and it's what makes traditional drawing and painting such a pleasurable experience. Like I said, I'm not going to draw with sophisticated apps like Photoshop. I've got no interest in that unless I'm making logos, graphics, brochures, illustrations. But when it comes to real drawing, this is what I enjoy most. So let's go ahead and finish, or should we finish his head and the hair? Can you see? The drawing process is the ability to take a drawing up to a particular stage in the drawing steps, like right now, and because we brought it up here, we're not able to take it to the next level if we hadn't brought it up to here. So since we brought the face And everything else up to here, you've seen. Now we know that the hair looks a little bit disheveled, not done at all. So we're going to actually fix that, yeah? So let's try and do the same thing we were doing with the face and follow the hair, okay? So let's look at this. So I'm gonna, I told you, mentioned to you that you can either drag the cursor halfway so you still have the reference point for you to actually do these colors that you may have missed out. So we can go ahead and do that because there's areas that we haven't touched earlier because of that. Just pick the color tones, color picker, and the tones that are actually being, and don't forget to follow the direction of the hairline as well as you're doing this, okay? Okay, you can see here, right, the same thing. And the other method I told you is to use these, this and then go between your drawing and then the actual reference image. And you can see there's a lot of black. He's got a lot of black on his hair. And I can do that. You can see that? So I select the black and then do the locks of his hair like that. And looking at his hair, right, just go like that. I normally use a line and shade brush, but in this case I tried to use a different brush, just to see how it feels, and it does feel good, when I'm doing the line brush all the time and the shade brush. And see that it's darker here, so I'm using the reference image, flicking between my reference image and my drawing as I'm looking at the tones that are changing. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Just see that there. Still with the black color, I'm still developing these hair tones here. And he's obviously groomed nicely. And it's a good sized brush, 3-4%. And we may even get smaller if we're feeling brave, yeah? So you can see these tones, these light tones. And then you can use the grayscale here to get these tones that are actually appearing every now and then. But you can see I've already got that. Right, this light tones, okay, to give it a little bit of depth to it. And here. So you got so many ways of making this work. And then you can see it's got little, I can use that just to show the outline of his head. Right, it's got a nice outline. Don't worry about getting exact details, you don't need to. And here, oops, we really went out the way, didn't we? Yeah, we did. So we were really going out the way. This is what happens. That's why the traced image is so important in terms of learning these skills, These skills you pick up, and as you keep doing it more and more, you're going to get a lot better. So I'm now put it back, because now I've got the reference image directly I can see, and all I have to do is this block coloring, okay? To refine the shape. Let's see what we got. We've got a nice little thing going on here. I don't think he has an earring, so we're gonna take his ears back like that. There, much better. So he's got his left ear, and now we can see that since we've come here, we can now go and finish that area here. And again, you can put it halfway, or as I like to do, I could go between that and that. But that's when you get better. Hopefully, you'll be able to use that method. Right now, I'm just going to use halfway, so I still have the reference image. Yeah, to make sure I can do the outline. Yeah. So I still have the reference image to provide that reference, much needed reference for the block coloring. Well, let's see what we've got. That's very looking very good. All right. There. And then what we have here. There. Looking good. Then you can see here, he's got, you can see there now. Now I need this, so I can now make that border line and then come to my drawing and know that I've got this edge, so I can now fill this edge and then have the correct shape and form. See, that's all it is. And now I can go here and do his hairline right there, and see his right there. And now let's go to his this bit there. So you can now do his ears. You might want to do this, keep it halfway so you can get the shape of the ears. Otherwise, you might end up with some ears that look like a monkey or something. We don't want that. Alright, so I'm still keeping it and then doing the outside so his ears are more pronounced. And let's see what it looks like. It doesn't have to be exact. Yeah. There. I think I've done a good job. Let's see what it looks like. Much better, isn't it? Now it's got a bit of a hairline, but now you can see at the top there, we need to just clear that grey area there. Right, much better. It's got a much better face, and we can now, it's now beginning to look like James Dean as well. Now you can see what we can do. I'm going to save this. This is instructions from the developer, and then I'm going to open it up again. This is only because we're working on a prototype for the next release of the app here. So you can see here the improvements that we can make now in the next step of the drawing process. You can see here, looks like the background is falling on his shoulder, and his white collar is a lot more pronounced. And how do we do that? Well, this is where density comes in. I'm going to show you, because we want a very pronounced line with the minimum of strokes. We're going to have put all it 100%, right? So if I pick that white, honestly, it's going to create nice, very harsh line. And I'll show you what I mean. And create a very harsh line. And there's a very defined edge. So pick the color picker, and look how harsh line you create. Look at that. How we've improved that shirt line, and we know that shirt line is the same thing on here. Do the same thing here. Shirt line here. So we got that white shirt line effect. All right. Look at that there. That's actually white. There. And then where else? Then I got the line here coming here, and then more of a white line here. So I'm going to go down right there. Very easy. Let's see what it looks like. So much better, isn't it? Definitely looks like a shirt. And if you want to improve these areas, very easy. Let's take it back to 70%. It doesn't have to be exact. And then let's take a bigger brush size, and then just pick the color tones, or leave it in your color, and just refine it. Okay, that's it. And then you could say, I need this color to be a little matched to this color, and then I need this black color just to go towards that. Then let's see what we've got. Looking better, isn't it? It looks like it's receded to the back, which is what we wanted. All these little things are little techniques. Now his shirt is beginning to look awfully good, like it's just came out of the press, isn't it? The iron press. My daughter says I have to be amusing when I'm doing drawing, because people like humor, and that's what I'm trying to do a little bit. Again, here you can see, so pick the color, just make it look like it's part of the furniture, right? Part of the background, and it's not alien. Right there. Right. Looks like it's a boarded up background. Right there. This is beginning to look very good. And now we're going to decide how we're going to do this wonderful crease marks on his shirt. That's the reason I picked this, because it was a challenge. And again, we can see there's some harsh lines. Look at the actual drawing. So we're going to increase that all the way to 90%, let's say, right, giving us a little bit of a couple of drawing strokes to get it to the right tone. But we could keep it really halfway, so take that down to 4%, and let's go over, because we used a very broad brush, let's go over and pick these colors and see what happens. I'm not too worried if in fact, I'm gonna take it down even more to 2.5%, right? Because I need to get to these tiny details. And this is all I'm gonna do, is just pick the color, just refine those edges that was done earlier to give it more pronunciation, right? That's all I'm doing. We're doing well for time. Still using the color picker. Right? And then get that tie down, man. This tie is very black and very pronounced, yeah? There. And then let's see if we're able to produce this shirt creases like the way we want, you know? That's the whole idea. We want it to appear like close to realism, but not for it to look realistic. That's not the aim here. The aim here is to make it close to realism as possible with the minimum time spent. Exactly, that's it. Created that line here. There. What are these colors? I don't know what they are. They may be light or dark, I'm not sure. But we'll fix that. We're not too worried. We're just trying to improve bit by bit, bit by bit. So we're doing improve bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. So we've done quite a bit. Let's do it. We haven't done this side. So again, let's see if we manage to pull it off and make it look like as though there are crease marks on his nice shirt, white shirt, and not just a bunch of shadows. Let's see if we've been able to pull it off. And remember, this is all learning experience. You're not expected to get it done right the first time. So we used a broad brush when we did that. Now we're using a small brush to put the details. Remember, a small brush creates textures, and that's how I create textures. Let's see if we've done a good job. That's coming out, isn't it? I'm quite impressed with that. It actually looks like it's shaping up to be his. Now I think we're going to resume his face. Let's get his face right. So what do we got? We got all these wonderful tools. Not the tools, but a tool set, powerful tool set with the ability to use the density and hardness, which you may overlook very easily. If you're a beginner, you might think, well, that doesn't do me much, so, because I'm not sure how to use it. So now I'm going to show you how to use it for effectively, powerfully in this particular. So notice we've laid down most of the tones. So now what we need to do is blend his face, right? So make the tones less spotty and more blended. So what we can do is we can take this down to 45%, yeah? And then we have a 6% brush side. Just for argument, we're going to stick to our side. And now I'm going to pick color tones that I'm going to want to blend. And look what I'm doing. I've got a bigger brush size. Look how it's actually blending. Can you see it? Actually blending lovely, isn't it? All right, can you see that? And I think it's a little harsher, so I'm going to take it down to 30%. Let's see what happens. Okay, look at the forehead, how it's coming together. See that? Pick the color picker and then just go over it a few times. Remember what I told you about these settings? See how his forehead is now somewhat blending? Yeah? No. Okay, I can see it. I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4 times over it. And it's having a bit of a effect, isn't it? On the look. Now let's try his around here, around his eyes. Right? And then we can always change it if we're not getting the effects we're looking for, right? Right. I'm targeting areas where I can improve. Right. So it's like it's 5-6% brush size. I may even change it around. I don't know. You know, it's not absolute science. Right. So pick the color and then just don't pick the actual color of the white area there. Pick the adjacent color. Alright, so pick the adjacent color and then just go around it. Pick the adjacent color and go around it, okay? Got it? Pick the adjacent color, go around it. It's almost like magic, isn't it? Now let's do its right side. Still looks very spotty, isn't it? But that's alright, we're going to fix that. Let's just go right. Pick the adjacent color that you want to blend. Don't go exactly on the color that you want to, just the adjacent color that you want to blend into. Not the area that you want to blend into, but the adjacent color. Now, look at that. It's a bigger improvement. It's got less of a disease, I think. Sorry, I shouldn't use that word. It looks like it's being healing already, isn't it? Right, this is where you can get really, and I think that brush is a little too on the small side. So now let's increase this to about 9%, 9.5%. And let's do the same thing here with this shirt. Let's see. Just give it that depth, a bit more shadows. And then you can play with it all the time. Right there, can see it. See, I'm actually using it and building it up. It's just like a pencil. And then I'm just going over these shadows, light shadows. It's not blocky. The whole idea is that I don't want to make it blocky. I want to make like the subtle shades that make up this shirt. And pull it off, you know, why not? Because, you know, blending real have gradients of blending in them, right? That's beginning to look good, isn't it? Just a little bit of effort. I'm going to pick a bit more of a darker color there. put a bit more darker color like here. You know, give it volume, shape. Why not? And then we can use that color tone, right? Use this color grayscale. It's looking like a shirt, isn't it? Sort of. Right. There. And then there. No, that's looking like a shirt, isn't it? I think it is. So let's pick that. Put some shadows around there. Not just the illusion that he's wearing a nice shirt, cotton shirt, right? So we can pick that color now and then blend it. I don't know, it looks all right. Let's take it down a bit and then increase that up to 40. You wouldn't know until you've experimented what it's going to look like. And take it up more. I'm going to put the harsh edges in there. You're not giving the impression that there is a crease. Don't know. Not sure how, but you know, you're not going to know until you try it. But no, it seems to work. So let's take that up. Right, and then I'm going to just smoothen this up here. Just smoothen it there. I think it looks all right. Now, what we can do, since we've got this large brush size, we're going to try and finish here. So I'm going to look at the face. I'm going to try and improve that. So I'm going to take it down, my understanding of, and then take that up to 12%. Remember, I did it 6%, but now 14, or let's say 14%. Let me pick this color and put, just look at that, just tone down, right? And then let's get this, just tone it down. Let's take it down even more. I don't want to be big focus, so we're going to try and not do that. Just get rid of these and make it really a natural skin. Yeah, get another color, bright color even, and so on is. All right, look at that, it's getting better, isn't it? And then there's four color. Let's there. You can see how it's getting better. And then this darker tone, the bigger brush, it's actually helping to shape that, isn't it? Somewhat. And then have some of this texture here on this side. You can see how it's improved. One here, and then underneath here. Yeah, that face is improved somewhat. Because we're adding another invisible, very transparent tone on the top of his face, yeah? And then if we wanted to, can just darken this area. And then let's keep looking at his face. And I can see that there is a little bit of, can take that down. And then he's got this nice little mid-tone there. So I'm going to take it down and then add this lovely little, you can see it there, sort of a shining. See if we can get away with that. That's 2% is a bit small. There. Just giving it the illusion of detail. And now we can see that it's quite dark around here. So we got a reasonably high density. So let's make that look real, as though it's not got some kind of a skin line there or something. Something happened. Darker tone. Yeah, there. And then we could see here that he has a little bit of a problem area. Right, if you look at that, it's not exactly white, so this is the drawing technique, okay? You can see you could keep improving it. Right, and then, I don't know, I think we've done quite a good job here. Let's see if you want to improve the hair a little bit. Let's take it down. Okay, clear. And then let's use this grey tone here, and let's put his, let's just now look at his tones here and see if we can improve it. This hair, right? You see, I used a very high density setting, practically close to 100%. And then just getting these dark tones that we didn't capture before. Right, all adds to the shape. And to the illusion of details and a hair-like structure. So I don't know, I think I'm okay with that. I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to finish here on the dot. So I really hope you enjoyed this drawing that I did with you guys. Please do subscribe. Paintology. There you are. So I hope this taught you some ideas of how to make digital be a pleasurable experience drawing on the digital on the phone. Not just using tools, You can see I've hardly accessed any blending tools or anything like that, but still I was able to produce something pretty good and impressive for a 2 hour work. So I do hope you enjoyed it, and please do join me for another session tomorrow. I'll have a subject for you ready, but if you have any ideas for a subject, do let me know, and do let me know what you think of the block coloring, and if there's anything you want to know, please do comment. So until again, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.